Good morning, everybody. My name is Beau Kidd. I'm an Operations Section Chief Trainee with the Rocky Mountain Blue Team, here with the operational period for Wednesday, August 12th. So we have 4 divisions on the fire today. We had some fire growth yesterday. We expanded and added some additional operational overhead out there to manage the complexity. So we're going to start out in Division Alpha, work clockwise around, and end in Division Zulu. So operations in Division Alpha for today's shift. We have 2 hot shot crews up in the no-name drainage, working on structure assessment, structure preparation as the fire backs down off the ridge into the no-name drainage. A lot of good work in there yesterday. We had some engine resources combined with the hot shot crews to do some structure protection measures, and now we're looking at getting some water handling equipment in there to plumb those, put up some sprinkler kits, and prepare for fire as it backs down off of the east side and down into the bottom of No Name. Additionally, in Division Alpha, they have responsibility for across the river in the No Name structures and the Glenwood Canyon Lodge. So they didn't have a lot of time yesterday to do structure assessments in there, but they're going to be focusing efforts on getting a good eye in there, evaluating what needs to be done to provide protection to those structures, and then starting on that operation. Moving up to the north into Division November. This division is essentially unstaffed by operational resources today. We will have a division supervisor out there, and his intent is to come up with a plan for long-term management of fire growth out to the north. Looking at options for using heavy equipment as the fire comes out of the canyon country and into more favorable fuels and terrain, to put in an equipment line, remove some of the vegetation so that we can have a control feature out here as the fire continues to progress out to the north. So that operation will be forthcoming, looking at maybe a plan in the next couple of days to get equipment plugged in there as the equipment comes trickling into the ICP here. Moving around into Division Whiskey out here on the east side, I-70 corridor moving from the Shoshone power plant out to the coffee pot area. So we have a division supervisor whose focus today is protection of the Shoshone power plant and keeping the fire up on the slope as much as possible, or limiting the fire intensity as it backs down to the slope. Concern in here is it's very steep, rugged terrain. As most people who have driven through there know, not a lot of safe places to put firefighters in there. So our efforts are going to be focused on strictly the highway corridor and protecting the values at risk. Complement of engines, structure engines, water tenders are focused primarily along the area around the power plant to protect that value. Moving off to the south into Division Zulu, this was a new area of the fire. It started yesterday about 1 o'clock. We had a couple of spot fires come from the north side over to the south side. Fuels and slope aligned with a little bit of wind, made a rapid movement up the south side of the river, up towards the rim on the mesa up here. Operations today will be focused on assessing the structures out there. There's multiple structures, private property here along the forest boundary from Lookout Mountain over to the Cottonwood Pass area. Getting a good handle on what's out there, what protection measures need to be taken to protect those structures as the fire continues to progress south and possibly out further to the east. We worked with the county last night to implement some evacuation orders for folks out in this area in Cottonwood Pass, Buckhorn, and we'll be evaluating that as time goes on to see if we need to maintain those evacuation orders or what the fire is going to dictate out there. We're going to have a heavy reliance on aircraft today. As of yesterday afternoon, that was buying us the most, is getting some aircraft up in the air to support the firefighters on the ground in their efforts, and looking at a continuation of that today. Multiple heavy air tankers, possibly some Type 1 helicopters to drop water on the fire as it moves in places where we really don't want it to move rapidly. One area of concern that we're very well aware of is the Hanging Lake area. The fire hasn't moved very far out to the east, but we're evaluating that drainage. That's a very important area to a lot of folks around here. So we're seeing what options we have to slow the fire spread out to the east in that direction. That's the operational period briefing for today, and thanks for tuning in this morning.